From the far reaches of space to the darkest places on Earth, join us as we explore the haunted, the cryptid, the creepy, and more. Exposing Reality Radio presents the Spectral Wolfpack Show, your paranormal nightmare, with your host, Alexander Bobolinsky.
Hey guys, what is up? I don't know what happened on the YouTube, but YouTube seems to be completely dead. No one can get in. No one can watch. Well, some people can watch videos apparently, but when you refresh, all kinds of errors going on. Because we were going to do this show on the YouTube. Unfortunately, it crashed like 10, 15 minutes before we were going to do the show. So we decided to come over here and do at least an hour on the Spreaker for you guys with our guest. Unfortunately, Chris Baird was going to be my co-host, but since we're doing it on the Spreaker, I wasn't able to have more than one person on at one time yet. I don't have a mixer. But it's okay, guys. It's still going to be an amazing show, and we're going to schedule a future show on the YouTube with our guest. Now, our guest is Tarak Uday. Is a modern metaphysician. He has been an avid lucid dreamer since childhood. However, his formal study into metaphysics didn't begin until 2010. He currently operates as a conscious consultant, aiding others to increase their self-awareness in order to create the lives they desire to live and develop into the people they desire to become. He has been teaching courses in consciousness for over 5 years and is an authority on dreams, consciousness, universal laws, as well as awareness. He has recently completed his first book, Life is But a Dream, Understanding Yourself Through Understanding Your Dreams. It can be found on Awaken Within's website, www.awakenwithin.us, and he is currently working on his next 2 books on lucid dreaming and the 13 laws of the universe. And guys, I've got his link to his website in the description as well, if you need to find that. So let's bring him right in. Tarak, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sorry for all this YouTube trouble, man. I can't even believe that.
That's all right. It's all right. Whichever way the river flows, you just gotta swim with it.
Yeah, and we made the decision to continue. We're still doing the show, so it's good.
Yeah, it works. I'm sure YouTube will jump back on as soon as we get done.
Oh yeah, probably right now it's probably already back up.
Yeah.
So
well, that's how it always works.
So it's going to be an interesting show. I mean, we haven't really had a guest like you on here before, and I'm excited to hear what all you've got to say. But I guess I'd like to know first. I guess tell us a little bit of your history with dreams and this kind of work.
Yeah, I've always had real prolific, epic type dreams ever since I was a little kid, and I always wondered what they meant, because I could tell that there was something to them, because sometimes they would even feel, realer than real life, and I'm sure, maybe you or some of the other listeners can relate to that, because a lot of people talk about having that same experience. But, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to know. And, I grew up in a real, strong Christian household growing up. And so my mom was always, prophesying for people and all this stuff. And, we'd be at church and she'd interpret somebody else's dream. And then on our way home, I'd ask her, well, what about my dream I had last night? This, and that. She's like, I only interpret dreams from the Lord. And, so it kind of would frustrate me as a little kid, because that made me realize, with that being my mother believing that, then I knew there was a meaning to the dreams, but still wasn't getting any answers. And so I think that really helped with giving me a strong drive to want to find the answer. And so, I came across the universal language of the mind about 7-8 years ago. Met someone who was teaching metaphysics, and the first day we sat down, it was kind of the first time I could really talk to anyone about anything like that had to do with consciousness, and it was amazing. And I told him my dream from the night before, and I just met this guy like 20 minutes before, and he was like, "Oh, well, yeah, this symbol means this symbol means this, that dream means this," and it was exactly what was going on in my life at the time. And so right then I knew, like, oh, I need to learn from this guy.
Yeah.
And I have the same experience with other people, so it's kind of revalidates it every time. And so that's mainly why, like, I write this book. I'm want to do this show, and because I know that there's other people out there who have maybe not since childhood, but maybe since childhood have always wanted to know what do my dreams mean? What is the purpose behind them? There has to be something to this. This isn't just an empty experience I'm having. There's something to this.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just want to share with people, let other people know, that there is a purpose to it, and learn how to communicate with themselves, because this is what it is. It's a message from, your inner self, your subconscious mind that's aware of everything you're aware of, and also aware of all the things you're unaware of, going on in your unconscious. And so it's like the best teacher you have, giving you daily lessons on fulfilling the goals that you have. So,
yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, man, it's wild stuff. I mean, I don't know too much about interpretations but I do dream pretty much every night, and
yeah,
I don't even really know where to start. I mean, I just it's just like,
well, first, because one thing that I'm really excited about is because I've done little interviews with dreams before. And,
yeah,
given tons of talks on dreams before, but most of the time it's just like the basic of like, this is what your dreams mean, this is how you interpret them. Give me some dreams and I'll interpret them, And that's fun and it's very exciting. But what I'm most excited about, because like when Christopher first linked me up with you and sent me to your channel, and I was watching, and it was all this, paranormal stuff, and, I just watched that other video of you going to the church on the hill and things, and just seeing all this different stuff that's going on, and it just made me realize that there's a whole other aspect of dreams that I can talk about with everyone on your channel, that they would be more accepting of and get, and also be able to connect with the things that they studied and were into, and there's things about it that I can understand a little better that you might be able to share also because of the study that, you do every day. So, which is pretty much the realm of where you go when you're dreaming. Because it's not just like a brain, like a movie in your brain. Anybody who's had a lucid dream knows it's like, you're existing there.
Yeah.
And so it's a different plane, resonating at a different frequency. And so I'm just excited to kind of talk about that a little more and explain that and different opportunities of, like validation and things, further personal validation of what you might find, with your own like paranormal activities.
Yeah, man, because like some dreams that I've had that I considered to be sort of a paranormal experience would be like after my mom passed away, she would sometimes visit me in my dreams.
Yeah.
And things like that, like people who had deceased visiting me in dreams. And then, like you said, though, because sometimes I can lucid dream as well, and it's definitely another world.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like, just last night, I was having this crazy dream that I don't even really know how to explain it. We were like on an airplane. People were doing some stuff you're not supposed to do on an airplane, and we were kind of like weirded out by it. And then like this stewardess comes up and like asked us if we were with those people, and we're like, no. and then it just like jumps, and we're like somewhere else, and it's like. So. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the dream realm, or what you know about it.
Yeah, okay. So essentially, for most of the time, I'll tell people that, every dream is about you, the dreamer. And this is just pertaining to the message contained within the experience, is that every dream is about you, the dreamer. So the message that has to do with, you and those people on the plane, it's all about you. You know, all the people in your dreams are aspects of yourself.
Yeah.
And for the most part, that's true. You know, unless you have a visitation dream, you know, then, I mean, you can still drive a message in the same way, but it's that person, that entity visiting you. It doesn't always have to be someone passed away, but that's most of the time people's experience. And but it has a different quality to it, you know, because I'm sure, you know, maybe you've had dreams of, you know, someone who's passed on that's just in your dream, and then you've woken up and like, whoa, that was a visitation. You know, there's just a different quality to it. Also, things like lucid dreams, there's a different quality to it that'll help you identify that it truly was a lucid dream. But for the most part, you know, all these different aspects in the majority of your dreams are just, you know, parts of yourself. You know, if there's a person in your dream, it's reflecting that aspect within yourself. You know, that, like, however you see that person, like their way of being, whether they're funny or loving or greedy or hateful or giving, you know, or friendly, you know, it's just reflecting that part of yourself. Or if, you know, you see, you know, an animal in a dream, it'll just represent that part of yourself. You know, it's not necessarily like having to do with anything outside of you. And it's usually reflecting like how you've been using your mind the previous day or two, you know, usually the previous day. So the dreams are in a language of images because we think in images. Yeah. Like if I ask you to think of a balloon right now, you know, I'm sure you could probably tell me what color you thought of because you saw it in the image, you know. Yeah. And, you know, everyone listening could probably realize, oh, yeah, I was thinking of a green balloon. And because we think in images. So if you know, it's littered all throughout many cultures that, you know, our thoughts create our reality. We all create our own reality. But are we doing it consciously or unconsciously? That's kind of what your dreams are helping you determine, you know, how to more consciously create your reality. And so you do that through your thoughts. And so these images your thoughts are images, so these images are displayed within your dreams. So essentially what you're doing when you're dreaming is you are, you know, putting your body to sleep, and your consciousness is moving from your physical body to your astral body. And your astral body resonates at a higher frequency. You know, the physical resonate at lower frequencies, which I'm sure you're aware of because you use multiple instruments to pick up on these other frequencies. And so your astral body resonates at a higher frequency. So as your consciousness shifts to that higher frequency, then you're able to move about within the realm that is on the plane of that higher frequency. And so that's kind of how you can move around it. And in this, you know, it's not part of the physical, so it's not limited by time or space. Yeah. So, you know, you can move from where I'm at right now to where you're at in an instant, you know, from here to Cairo in an instant. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, so that's a little bit of the basics of where you're dreaming. But, you know, to kind of get back to just the basics of dreams in general, it's, you know, in the how your thoughts are images, these images that are portrayed, the way that you can then decipher and determine what your dream is meaning is through, like I was saying earlier, I call it the universal language of the mind. And that's because it's the language that we all universally speak, which is images. You know, I can show an image of a horse to, you know, me or you, or, you know, someone from the Congo or someone from Cambodia. You know, they'll all know, oh, horse, you know, because the image, no matter what the language you speak, the image is pure. It's the purest form of communication. Yeah. And so, so like the way that is through the form and then the function. So like the dream that you have of an airplane, the form is an airplane, but its function is to move lots of people from one place to a goal. They have a destination, a goal to get to, and an airplane allows all of those people to get to that goal. And so how does that relate to our life is like an organization. Organizations in our life help multiple people move towards a goal. So like school or work or, you know, any other, like a club or anything that you know, someone's a part of. So that dream that you were having would relate to, you know, I'm not sure what you do for work or anything, but or any other type of organization you might be a part of, but, you know, kind of in relation to that as far as yesterday, the day before. And, so, you you just kind of look at that. That's kind of how you decipher the symbols. And as you get more and more practice, it gets a lot easier to understand things.
Wow.
But that's kind of some basics to it. I don't know if that formulates any questions.
Well, just hearing that makes me start thinking, I'm like, dang, that actually kind of makes a lot of sense. There is a question in the chat, though. Do you believe there is a difference between visions and dreams?
I really don't think there's a difference between visions and dreams, because both are coming from the same place. Now, I mean, if you're just sitting there imagining something, then that's kind of your conscious mind coming up with these images. Yeah. But like a vision, in the sense of like just receiving this vision, it's essentially coming from the subconscious mind, which is where your dreams come from. Yeah. And they both, they both can be derived. The message can be derived in the universal language of mind, because it's your subconscious mind speaking to your conscious mind. So it's the language of the mind. So you can derive the same message. So I really don't see any difference. The only difference that I do see is that your consciousness is at the moment housed within the physical body when you're having a vision, and it's housed within the astral body when you're dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah, that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, real quick, I just want to talk about a dream that I had 2 nights ago and just see what you think. Just a quick portion of it. I had gotten these shoes at the Goodwill store, and I put them on, and then all of a sudden, like, mass amounts of cockroaches started like swarming out of the shoes and like crawling all over my legs, and I was trying to like just get them all off me, but it was just definitely woke up feeling kind of uncomfortable after that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, the universal language of mind is about form and function. Yeah. So you essentially have 2 forms, the shoes and the cockroaches. And so then you have to understand, what are their functions. So we'll start with shoes. Shoes protect your feet. Well, what are feet? Your feet are your foundation. It's your connection to the earth. Yeah. And the earth represents the subconscious mind. And I can go into explaining all of that, but I can if you want. But essentially, our feet ground us to the earth, the subconscious mind, and what grounds us to our own subconscious mind is our spiritual foundation, because or mental foundation, whatever someone wants to interpret it as or explain it as. But so essentially, the way that I share that, it's like your core belief of the things beyond the physical, mental, spiritual, of your core beliefs of that for yourself. Some people see it as a God and they go to church. Some people it's just like, indescribable, and they have their own personal experience and don't share with anybody else. Some people are just kind of unaware of it, or, don't believe it, but essentially whatever that foundation is for you, wherever that core belief is regarding that, that's your foundation. So that's what your feet are going to represent. Well, shoes are there to, the purpose of that is primarily to protect them, but do you think you were going to buy shoes, or?
Yeah, I went and I bought these shoes, and then I put them on. Yeah.
Okay, so because like our society is so much different than like if someone was to interpret that dream 100 years ago, because 100 years ago you go to the shoe store, you have like 2 shoes to choose from, brown shoes and black shoes. Mm-hmm. Now you have, you go to one shoe store, there's 40 different shoes just for guys and 60 for girls. And, that's only one shoe store out of the 6 shoe stores in the mall, out of the 4 malls in the city. So we have tons of choices. And so it's kind of more so about like expression. And so since you like just bought those shoes, I would say instead of it kind of meaning the way you are, like protection for your feet, it's more like expression, your self-expression. And so, but it's in regards to your spiritual foundation. So if that dream was a couple days ago, then it would have to do with like some way that you express your belief, and that kind of makes sense, because I mean you have a many avenues, YouTube channel, podcast, where you kind of express beliefs, not necessarily, your spiritual beliefs or core beliefs, but I'm sure that comes through.
Yeah.
And so, and attached to that, with the shoes, the main thing that's happening with that is all of these roaches are coming out. So bugs are parts of animals, they're just really small ones. And animals are habitual creatures. So they're going to represent habits, because all animals tend to do the same things, be in the same places, generations upon generations, so they're very habitual. And so it's not necessarily like our own habits, but it's like habitual ways of thinking. So like it's kind of like the same thoughts going on over and over, or like I tend to think the same way, or tend to think the same thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was to sneeze right now, somebody say, "Oh, bless you," or "Gesundheit," they aren't consciously choosing that to say that; they're just automatically saying it. Well, like for me, a strong habit for me a long time ago that I still work on now is, I would something would happen, I'd get a bill in the mail or something. I would think, "Oh man, I don't have enough money."
Yeah.
I didn't consciously think that; it was just a habit. But you had cockroaches, so it's just really small ones. So it's like this small habit that's kind of like getting out of control in regards to, your spirit, the way you express spiritually. So that can look like either, maybe the day before you were having like this deep conversation with somebody and, you kept getting distracted, or, you just kind of kept having like maybe like some negative thoughts, or, mostly you would want to look at like, what do I think of when I think of cockroaches?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the big thing with dreams and interpreting dreams. Like me, I can't interpret anyone's dream, other than my own. I can help people understand the symbols, but only each person dreaming can interpret their own dream. That also goes along with what I wanted to say in the beginning of, I hope nobody believes anything I say, because, I don't want anyone to rely on believing me, but just be open maybe and create your own experience, because like I said, I'm a metaphysician. I look at it as metaphysics and science. So be open to it, conduct your own study, and find out what's true for yourself.
Very,
don't believe me.
very similar in the paranormal realm too, because we don't exactly know exactly what's going on. All I can speak about from that is like from my own experiences and experiments. And we have another question here from Chris.
Yeah.
He says, "Are long-term lucid dreams prior existences?" He dreamed of a future existence during a long-term tragedy. Was he in someone else's existence or one of his own from another life?
So, just make sure I'm understand that correctly. So essentially, I'm not sure what he means by like a long-term lucid dream. Like,
I think
where he keeps having a lucid dream over and over, different nights, and it's like continuing the same like storyline, or
I think he means like one dream. Sorry for that loud noise, guys. That's one of the neighbor's dogs. He like bangs up against the tin wall. I think he means one night, a dream that feels like it lasts like years, or
okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Well,
like I was saying, the dream realm within the inner levels of the mind, it's not a part of the physical, so it's not limited by time and space. Like I've gone to sleep for 10 minutes and it seemed like an hour, 2 hour long dream, plenty of time. Mm-hmm. But in regards to that, only he would be able to tell if it was like him having an interaction in someone else's dream. And like I said, there's a different quality to that than just a regular dream. And if that's what he kind of intuitively sensed, that could be it. But as far as it being like a future event, that's very possible as well, because it's, we have precognitive dreams, because since the subconscious mind isn't limited by time and space, it can perceive different lines of probability, based upon our current thoughts and actions that we have currently and in the past. And the same with those around us in our environment. It can perceive different lines of what's probably going to happen, these different lines of probability. And so it could portray what is potentially to happen. But essentially, from what it sounds like what he's saying, there was this whole time element to it. And time in dreams isn't really linear like like, we have timelines. It was when we were kids, we did timelines in school, and it's just this line going across. But the time, we think of time as a linear thing, but in our dreams, it's more of a vertical. Time is a vertical aspect where it's not so much, because, like, I'm sure we can all think of, like, things we're going through and lessons we're learning in life that we've been, like, struggling to learn for, like, 10 years, 20 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
And so even though these 5 years have elapsed, our level of consciousness in regards to that one lesson might not have grown that much. Whereas, we might just one day fully understand something, and within moments, our level of consciousness in that particular instance has risen completely. In that regard, in that one category that we understand, so it just elevates quickly. So it's more about, like, your level of consciousness with time. So with a dream like that, I would just look at, I'm not sure if it was a recent dream or not, but just look at the couple days before and, think about what kind of, like, a new awareness or what kind of level of understanding that he just received in addition to, the previous day or two. And just kind of dive deeper into that and really being more conscious of not only what kind of new awareness came into his thoughts or mind, or what kind of new learning or understanding he developed, but also how did that come about, so that then you can more easily replicate it in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, it very well could have been, that he went and visited somebody in a dream. I remember I had a classmate once when I first started out learning dreams, and every class our teacher would have us, read a dream and interpret it, and our classmates would offer more additional interpretation that they see. And for, like, the last month, one of my classmates, we didn't really get along, and he had really bad breath, like bad. And I was always scared to tell him, but I wanted to tell him. But I was scared to, because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want him to think that I'm telling him, like, to make fun of him or be mean to him.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want him to walk away from me and go talk to someone else and, not even be aware that he's embarrassing himself, So
yeah.
I didn't know, so I never told him. But then 2 weeks later in class, my teacher's like, all right, share with us the very last dream you had last night. And we all go around the room, and it comes to him. He's like, well, my very last dream was that I was at my apartment, and there's a knock at the door. I open the door, and there's Tarak standing there, and he tells me my breath stinks.
Oh, my God.
I just bust out laughing.
Wow.
Like, oh, wow, I found a way to tell him where he won't get mad at me.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, yeah. And I've had a list of other experiences kind of like that, like,
yeah,
something I want to share with somebody or tell them, and then they call me up, like, you were in my dream last night, you told me this, and this. That's amazing.
Wow. That's amazing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to take...
I mean, it's the same as, like, the visitation dream you said you had, this
yeah.
someone who hasn't passed on and still.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get more into that in a sec. I want to ask one more question from the chat, and then I want to get into more of that stuff, like maybe some of the entities we could come across in the dream world or things like that. But Tim wanted to know, he said he used to dream a lot in his earlier years, but lately he never dreams. And Chris also said that his son never dreams. What do you think about that? Like, people not having dreams?
Yeah, well, I would say this. My knowledge and understanding thus far is that everyone dreams. It's just a matter of whether you remember it or not. I'm sure we all can sit there and remember times where we start to tell someone about a dream, and just 2 seconds before it was crystal clear, but as soon as we start talking, it's all fading rapidly. And it's the same way. Like, when you dream, most of the time you don't remember your waking life. That's why you see a flying toaster driving down, the highway, and you don't think twice about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, So, but there's still, like, one universal truth, meaning that this truth is universal for everyone, everywhere, all the time, is that, what you put your attention on grows, and energy flows wherever your attention goes. So, and for anyone, like I said, don't believe anything I say, but maybe right now or while I'm talking or while we're talking or later on, just start putting your attention on like your big toe, one part of your body, and just keep your attention there and see if you feel anything different. See if energy does flow there. Maybe I'm just full of shit and just lying. But energy flows where your attention goes. So the more attention, one thing that you can do if you want to experience more dreams is put more attention on it. Like right now, there's a great first step, listening, to this and understanding more about your dreams and, talking to people about your dreams or anything. But like I said, your dreams are also a reflection of your waking consciousness. So if you want to remember more dreams, then it'd be important to increase your memory. Memory is just a mental muscle, just like your physical muscles. The more you exercise them, then the stronger they get. A person who's in a coma for, months, who never exercises their muscles, they have to go to physical therapy just to walk again.
Yeah.
So if you never exercise it, it'll debilitate. So there's plenty of memory exercises. One I do regularly, I haven't really done it regularly in a couple years, but for like 5 years straight, every day. I would do what's called a 5-day, 5-step exercise where you recall 5 events from the day, starting with, like tonight, recalling, like me, I would recall us first connecting on YouTube, Hangouts before YouTube, and then, kind of setting things up, and then recall driving home from work, and then, recall a meeting I was in, and then recall what I had for lunch, and then recall brushing my teeth this morning. So that's like 5 images from the day going backwards. That's one day. You do that for like 5 for today and 4 previous days. And then you just do that every day. And at first it might take you like 5 minutes, but after a year I was down to like 45 seconds.
Wow.
After 2 years I was down to like 10, 20 seconds.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
I haven't done it in 3 years, and I still am blown away with like things that I'll remember or just naturally be able to recall in my mind.
Yeah.
But I do still do other type of memory exercises, but that particular one is kind of where I started. So that's a suggestion that can help. That'll definitely help. But if you really want to remember dreams and you really want to, recall more or go deeper with your dreams, nothing is going to replace writing them down. Nothing at all. I've experienced lucid dreams all the time when I was a kid, but that was more like not really knowing what I'm doing or not really knowing what's going on. But as an adult, I experienced them every once in a while, but once I started writing down my dreams every day, within 3 months I was having lucid dreams left and right.
Wow.
So that's like probably the number one key. The other key is, just keep your attention on it.
Yeah.
Keep thinking about it, talking about it with other people, asking them about their dreams if they dream. You don't have to know anything about dreams to have a conversation about it.
Man, that's amazing. I'm going to definitely have to work on that because I used to, there's sometimes I would be writing my dreams down and write like paragraphs on it, and then other times I couldn't remember anything. So I'm going to have to do some of that. What'd you call the 5-step, 5 days? Yeah,
5 day, 5 step, 5 step, 5 day,
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want. You can, maybe start out 3 step, 3 day, whatever you have to do to get started.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah. Well, actually, connected to that, there's like an ancient yogi practice of that's just like 5 steps, 5 days, but like every day, so like doing that for like the first week, and then the next week going back to like the previous month for a whole week, and then the week after that going back in your mind backwards, maybe not like 5 events every day, but just kind of the same concept of going backwards in events of what's happened in your life the past month, and the third week doing the previous year, and then like 5 years, and then 10 years, and just going back. And I've never like sat down and actually done it. I have like the other exercises and stuff that I do and practices that I do, but I thought about trying it more recently actually. But essentially it's supposed to like to be able to recall things from your childhood and then your birth and then being in the womb and then before you were born, past lifetimes and stuff. But I don't know about any of that because I've actually done it. But it's hard that that's the result. But tons of yogis talk about it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So for anyone in the chat, Brian asked another question. I wrote his question down, but let's talk a little bit about some dream entities if you want to.
Yeah.
And then I'll come into his question.
Yeah. So, one thing because I do get a question about that often, and one thing I often like to tell people is that, just because an entity isn't in a physical body doesn't mean it's necessarily wiser or smarter than people you interact with in physical bodies. So that's just one thing to remember. But essentially, like I was saying, what you're doing is you're existing at a different level of frequency. So just like the visual spectral, we can only see within a certain ray because that's the amount of light, the frequency of light that our eyes can pick up and receive.
Yeah.
We only hear a certain amount because that's the level that our ears receive. Well, our astral body also has senses as well. People call it the third eye or clairvoyance or clairaudience. But essentially it's just that astral body that resonates at a different frequency, and so you're experiencing with on a plane of existence that's millions, billions, who knows how many entities are also experiencing. And that's like for most of them, that's like where they normally reside. And for some like us, that's just where we temporarily reside until we come back down to this lower frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's many different things you can do. Like as far as like a visitation dream, you've had a visitation dream. You can ask people to come and visit you. Like if you, say someone else who's listening has a loved one who's passed, and like I said, it can be recent or it could be a long time because, there isn't any limit of time or space. So they can come visit you. But you can ask them to. What I suggest with that is writing down, writing a letter to them, essentially, like a stream of consciousness writing, where you're just writing and writing and you're not stopping until you have absolutely nothing left to write. And just write all you have about them, why you want them to come visit you, what you think about them, what you always want to say to them, how you feel about them, any questions for them, and just write it all down and then go to sleep, and ask them to come to you and do that until you're successful. Because, it might not happen the first night, it probably will, but it might not, so just, don't get discouraged. Just do it every day until it does happen. I doubt it would take more than 7 or 10 days. But you can also, it doesn't have to be someone who, like your grandfather who passed, or your aunt, or your mother or brother. It can be, some people just want to ask like their guides, or maybe you want to ask any other type of being or entity. But one thing though is that I would strongly suggest if you're like wanting to go out with and interact with other entities is to make sure you have a strong willpower. Like a strong sense of will, because nothing, like in the astral realm, dream realm, nothing can hurt you. You're pretty much indestructible. I've tried. And but one thing though is like you do have to kind of watch out of like what you, just like in the physical realm, like I'm not gonna drive over to the west side of a bunch of group of guys I don't know and just like walk up on them and just start chatting with them. I do have friends over there, so I'll go over there and, hang out with them, but I gotta just go walk up to a bunch of people I don't know and just, start asking them questions and interrogating them, So you also have to just be just as mindful, when you're interacting with other entities that are not physical also, because, like the whole thing of like, like there's folklore of like jinn or demons or vampires and things, and essentially, like the whole folklore lie is really exaggerated, but essentially, like the story of vampires sucking blood, but your blood is your life force. Your life force is your energy, your life force. So it's really more just sucking the life force from you, draining the energy from you.
Yeah.
And so there might be anything like that, but that's why I said you have to have a strong willpower. Nothing can be done to you that you don't allow to happen. You know, so even though, like I said, you know, you can't be destroyed or hurt, you also can't be forced to do things in the astral realm that you don't either allow something else to influence you to do, or don't, like, defend yourself, essentially. You know, so, you know, it's good to practice willpower and things like that, and have strong willpower if that's what you're wanting to do, you know. You know, some people don't even want to attract that to them, but if that's, you know, like something you want to do, then just, you know, make sure of those things. Be mindful of those things that, you know, the only, like, it can't, nothing can actually hurt you, you know, so there's not really anything to be afraid of or anything. But yeah, just kind of, that's kind of a little bit of, like, if you're wanting to interact with other entities or beings. But I mean, you can also come across some amazing entities and things, so that can, you know, share a lot with you.
Tell us
different places you can go to, you know, gain more knowledge that you can't even find on Earth, all type of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's I think I've been to some places and seen, or, you know, you just, the dream realm is just awesome. I actually look forward to it every night, you know, like what's going to happen tonight. And tell us a little bit about, I guess, about the guides, about what you would suggest about maybe finding or reaching out to. I know you did talk a little bit about even writing a letter to them, or but tell us a little bit more about guides.
Yeah, so, like, there's different guides. There's some who are like just like people. So, like, you have, like, most people have, like, a soul group, like a group of souls that are kind of at the same level of learning and things, and progression, spiritual evolution, you know, mental evolution. And, you know, some will, like, so you have a group of friends, and, you know, like, say there's 5 or 6 of them, and 3 of them are like, you know what, we're going to go and incarn this lifetime here, and you guys stay behind and help us, you know, get through this learning and understanding. And so, you know, you kind of have those kind of guys that are kind of just like hanging out with you. They don't really know a whole lot more than you, but they do remember beyond just this lifetime, you know, so they remember a lot more. So they do kind of know a lot more than you consciously know, but, you know, they're not like these all wise beings or anything. But they kind of, you know, you learn through experiencing what you're experiencing in life and learning through life, and they learn through watching you go through it, you know, and then, you know, maybe next lifetime you know, look out for them. And so you kind of have those kind of guides, but you also have, like, you know, what people call teachers and masters and things, like ones who are further along, you know, and understand more. You know, because, like, there's been people all throughout history who have attained a certain level of consciousness, and, you know, Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, Zarathustra, all type of people who've been all through history, Melchizedek. But the difference between them and us is that they got to it a lot faster than us. You know, we're still here.
Yeah.
So essentially, there's another group of people who don't really need to come into physical bodies to build understandings and learn who they are. You know, so they're there, available also. You know, but you also have just, like, souls that, you know, don't really have anything to do with you, but, you know, are not in physical bodies. Or you also have people who are, in physical bodies, just, you know, walking around, meeting people.
Yeah.
You know, like, one place where I learned a lot of, like really propel my astral projection is from a guy named Robert Bruce. Astral Bomb is what he calls himself, Robert Bruce. He has a book, Astral Dynamics. It's amazing. And he has, like, a little video. He started putting up videos a few years back. And in one, he talks about when he very first, like, he's been astral projecting for years. Yeah. And, like, back in, like, the late 90s, he would just, like, get on forums and answer people's questions and stuff. And one time, like, a blind guy, because, like, most of his suggestions were on, like, visual. Like, oh, well, visually visualize this, and then you'll leave your body. And one guy was like, well, I'm blind. He's like, oh, shit. So he thought of, he was like, all right, well, let me think about it. And he thought of, like, ways that he can feel his way out of his body. Mm-hmm. Well, then, like one day this guy comes and visits him, and he's like, oh, because it was like a profound thing. He's like, I'm going to never teach visual again. This was so much easier. I'm going to teach just tactile imaging and get out of your body. And this guy just shows up, this like darker skinned guy with a big afro shows up. And he's like, well, now that you know this, what are you going to do about it? He talks about how, like, this guy, he's like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And then he thinks, well, I guess I'm going to have to do some work and put some stuff together and teach people this. And the guy, like, smiled and left. And then he said, like, a week later, he went to his mom's, and he was, like, telling her the story. And she's like, oh, I know that guy. And she goes and grabs a book, and it's this guy, Sai Baba, who I don't know if you're familiar, but I've seen different things of him. He's, like, I think he's passed it now, but he's, like, this guru or something that would be, like, just, like, he would just manifest amulets or jewels or, like, hot desserts. And he's, like, in the middle of the mountains where there's no electricity for hundreds of miles. Like, he got a hot dessert, And he just manifests all these things. But,
wow.
I mean, he also, like, most of the incense you see places, it's from Sai Baba.
Yeah.
But, essentially, Robert Bruce, he didn't know who the hell he was, but as soon as he saw his picture, he said, yeah, that's the guy. And so he just, like, went and visited him,
Wow.
And so, I mean, you also have people who are in the physical that are going around. So, I mean, there's all sorts of, entities that you can meet. You can meet different spirit animals. A lot of people talk about spirit animals, but the thing with animals, from my understanding, from different research, a lot of it comes from space-time itself. They talk about how animals are more of a group soul, like an oversoul, like that's how, like, schools of fish can move around in such unison, and birds can move around, and it makes sense when you understand, like, the root races of gases to minerals to plants to animals to animal man to reasoning man, where we're at now, and the evolution of a soul. And so by doing that, being able to experience in multiple animals at once, then that soul can gain experience. Like, if it's one soul incarnating in 4 different dogs, then you can understand what it means to be a dog 4 times faster. And so but that one oversoul is kind of what you can interact with in a dream, or in the astral plane. So, So, I mean, it's just whatever you're interested in and whatever you want to do. But what I would suggest is do some study and some, fill your conscious mind with a little more information, whatever you're interested in, and then, fill it up. And then when you're writing before the dream, that's when you're emptying it out. And through emptying it, you're creating space for that experience to fill that space.
Nice.
Nature abhors a void, so you make a space in order to receive.
Yeah. Nice. Have you ever, in your experience, in your dreams, have you ever came across an entity that tried to, test your willpower or any kind of negative experience?
I mean, this lifetime, I can't recall consciously. Well, I mean, I know not one that's like trying to battle me or anything, but it just makes, when you first said that, it made me think of a good friend of mine when I first started getting into dreams. I was, all my life, ever since we first became friends, I was sharing with him my dreams, but he was there when I really started, progressing exponentially with dreams. But he would always say, like, man, you're a warrior in your dreams. You're always talking about going to battle and things. But before I started writing down my dreams, I did have quite a few experiences. Like, I mean, I would have night terrors, or kind of wake up and there's like a figure in the corner of the room that's scared the shit out of me, and I can't go back to sleep for like 3 days until my body just crashes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have, as a grown man, that would happen, and really, ultimately, it's never happened ever since I started writing down my dreams and interpreting them and things. But also, I was doing, at the same time doing that, I was doing a concentration exercise every day. I was doing a visualization exercise every day, a meditation exercise every day. And by being that disciplined, it was just naturally, building my willpower. So I don't know if it was more so of just that I was working with my dreams, or that combined with the fact that my willpower was strengthening every day more and more. But even in, essentially, really, the reason you're going to attract that is because there's like a lack of self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, for me at least, because like it was just kind of like a shape. You know, it didn't really have a form. It didn't have a face, really. I could kind of sense that there were some eyes, but you know, it didn't really have this form. And so there's like a lot of unawareness attached to that. And ultimately, whether it was really an entity or not, or you know, a remnant of a dream, ultimately it's going to reflect back that, you know, I need to increase my self-awareness. You know, if you're having that experience, ultimately one thing that is going to eradicate that is, you know, increasing your self-awareness, becoming more aware of yourself. Then you'll be able to identify that more, you know, because the more you're aware of yourself, the more you're naturally going to be aware of your inner self, your spiritual self, which will be able to easier identify these other things and be more in control of that body. You know, like if you think about a baby, you know, a baby is just so vulnerable because it doesn't even know how to use its body yet. It's just getting familiar with it. So it's very vulnerable and at the mercy of whatever comes to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas once the baby really knows and grows into its body, then, you know, it grows and becomes stronger and more capable of doing things and able to defend itself and be its own person. So the same thing with, you know, consciously controlling your astral body. You know, first, you know, like when you become a lucid, your first couple lucid dreams, when you lucid dream, you can change things, you can go flying, you can do all types of stuff. You can only do it to the level that you're able to exercise your mind in that way.
Yeah.
You know, like flying represents freedom, you know, mental freedom, being free of the things that weigh you down.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I become lucid, if I'm still being weighed down from things, you know, I might not be able to just fly as much as I want. Maybe I'm only like floating.
Yeah.
You know, so, which happens to me. I mean, I lucid dream all the time, but sometimes I go and lucid dream and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go fly. And I can only like jump 100 feet in the air and fall down. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and then I'll just sit there and think like, there's stuff that's like I need to let go of when I wake up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if that kind of thing is happening, you kind of more want to, like I said, just focus on strengthening your willpower and understanding yourself. So understanding your thoughts, and are you consciously choosing these thoughts that you're thinking, or are they just kind of coming into your mind and you're allowing them to be thought of? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy how
become more conscious.
How much this does coincide with all the paranormal stuff, just with some of the things that I practice and some of the things that I've noticed happen to people and experiences they're having at their house, or with night terrors and sleep paralysis. And that's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and get Brian's question in here real quick, and then and then we can. If there's anything else that you wanted to bring up, we'll talk about that. And then let's see. He says, sometimes our dreams seem and feel real. Is it our soul leaving our body, showing us another universe or realm, or is our mind trying to expand and showing us beyond our own mental capabilities? And then he said, are we being led somewhere, but wake up before that door is open? I guess he's talking about there, like when you wake up and you, I guess you wanted to keep dreaming, or
yeah. Well, for him particularly, that may be what's happening. He's kind of like waking up right before, you know, this new door is open. Mm-hmm. And so, but to the first part of the question, yeah, essentially both is happening, because, you know, you're not your mind, you're not your brain, your brain's not your mind, you know, you're not your body, you're not your soul even, and you're not even your spirit, you know, but the body, soul, and spirit are just three different bodies. You know, the physical body allows you to move around in the physical, and using your conscious mind, because the mind is just a tool to be able to know yourself. Then the soul, which uses the body. The soul is just the body to be able to move around within the inner levels of the mind, and in the subconscious mind. And there's different levels in the subconscious mind. So like, there's 4 different levels. The closest to the physical, the lowest, is the emotional level, which is why we feel emotions, because it's right there. It's right next to us. It's like I can feel my clothes because they're touching me. That's why we call them feelings, because that's the energy that we feel. And then you have the lower and upper astral levels, or lower and upper spiritual levels. And then above that, you have the mental level. Well, depending on which level of mind you're at, there's a different element to each. There's a different quality to each. One way you can identify it is, like, if you're dreaming in black and white, then you're going to be in the emotional level. If you're dreaming in, like, Technicolor, like the regular daytime view, that's going to be, like, the lower astral level. And if you're dreaming in, like, high pastels, very vibrant colors, then that'll be the upper astral level. And then the mental level is, like, very, like, white lights, very, like, white. There's, like, no color. It's where, like, a lot of people depict heaven. When they, say, oh, I went to heaven and came back, everything was very angelic and white. They went to that level of mind, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you do have different levels, different worlds or universes you can go to. And each of them have their own doorway, like to access them. And, you don't necessarily consciously have to know what the doorway is to be able to access it. But if you do want to consciously do that, you just kind of have to know the key to the door and get in it. But, I mean, the answers to that are littered all over the world in different cultures. I used to be very adverse to the Bible just because my family was so, like, shove it down my throat.
Yeah.
But I truly love it now that I understand the universal language of mind, because I understand the keys within it. It's like, not this story here. It's like, what is that story saying in the universal language of mind? So the book of Revelations, which ever since I was a kid I was fascinated with, because I just kind of felt that there's something to this I'm not getting. And the whole thing is about the 7 different levels of mind. That's the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks are the 7 chakras, and the 7 seals are the 7 doorways into those levels of mind. I mean, it's just a blueprint of, this is how you unlock each. This is what will happen if you, get this chakra spinning right. This is what will happen if it's debilitated. It's amazing how much is just sitting there and in the face of so many people who just read it and are like, the goat with cricket legs and a lion face is going to come out and eat us all if we don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your soul and your mind, your subconscious mind, are wanting you to, lead you to more expansive awareness, more expansive consciousness. But, so I mean, it is like destiny that it will happen eventually. But we all have free will, we all have free will. We can choose when that happens. If I get fired tomorrow from my job, I can choose to learn from it or not. If I don't choose to learn from it, then, I'll learn from it someday. Maybe my next job I'll work at for 7 years and then get fired from that, and I didn't have another opportunity. Or maybe it's not even this lifetime, maybe next lifetime I learn it. But eventually we'll learn it, but, you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
Right now. So,
man.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what your soul, subconscious mind, at least mine in particular. I'm pretty sure that's universal at different conversations with other people, but
yeah,
at least that's what mine does for me in dreams.
And Brian said that you answered his question and helped him better understand this phenomenon. And he also said, love you guys. We love you too, Brian.
Yeah, I love you, brother.
But yeah, so before we wrap up this show, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any of the stuff that you wanted to bring up about this?
Yeah, no, I kind of touched on a lot of different things. Essentially, one thing that I would want to leave everyone on a note of is being more conscious. Like because your dreams it's fun to experience and everything. Well, that's one thing with dreams I always like to tell people is that, yeah, it's fun to experience them, it's good to interpret them, but applying the message within them is key. That's the whole purpose of receiving that message is applying it. You know, like if somebody came into this room right now and told me that, the house is on fire and I keep sitting here, then the message was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I respond to it, then it was useful. So pay attention to the messages in your dream. But more important than that is, well, not more important than that, but kind of going along in the lines of that, and also what will help you to understand your dreams is being more conscious. You know, more conscious of like what you're doing. Don't just do things just because you've always done them, or just be more conscious of like what your thoughts are. Just think about the thoughts that you're having, and are you like what's really pushing those thoughts and what's behind those thoughts, and why do you think those thoughts were? Be more conscious of what you're feeling. When you're angry or sad or depressed or jealous or happy, where is that? Because emotions are just energy. So where's that energy at actually in your body? Like the happiness, where are you feeling that? Is it in your legs, is it in your back, is it in your head? The grief, where are you feeling that at? Is it in your gut, in your chest? So just be more conscious of everything, and then because it's one thing to be able to experience your dreams, but it's a whole nother to be conscious and aware of what's going on in your dreams.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of the cool stuff we've been talking about, you can't really do any of it without any sort of level of consciousness, being conscious.
Yeah.
So that's one key that I would definitely want to leave everybody with. Is everything you do, just try to do it more consciously. Even if you're just washing dishes, just try to be more present, conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah, man. I've got a lot of stuff to work on now after this show. I'm like planning it all out. This is great. This has been great. But go ahead and I know I said it at the beginning, and the link is in the description. But go ahead and let everyone know how they can find like your Facebook page and your website and everything like that.
Yeah. I think on Facebook it's at Weekly Awakening, or at Weekly Awakening. On Instagram it's at The Weekly Awakening. One of the two, I got to figure that out. The YouTube is Awaken Within 3. And there's lots of videos on there that you can learn more about your dreams. I do have a book that I just released that you can find on Amazon, Life is But a Dream. But I mean, essentially everything that's in the book is in a lot of those videos. And then some of the stuff that isn't in those videos I shared tonight, like that 5-day 5-step exercise, I put that in the book. But there's other stuff in there too. I mean, if you want to read it, it's fine. And then, on YouTube there, and then the website, www.awakenwithin.us. That's kind of the different ways you can find me. If you want to follow along, got more videos. There's normally on Wednesdays. I think we kind of end up having a show at the same time because of the time difference. But there's the Weekly Awakening where we mostly talk about dreams, but we'll sometimes talk about the breath and things, and plenty of other stuff. Visualization, we go on a whole stretch of visualization stuff and how to manifest things more consciously, and which really coincides with dreams. But anyway, you can learn that from the videos. But even if you can go watch your show, Alex, and then catch mine on YouTube afterwards. No big deal.
Or vice versa. Because
what'd you say?
I said, or vice versa, because mine will be up. Yeah. Mine will be up. So like anytime. Yeah, I mean, I definitely I'm gonna have to tune into some of your streams, and I just subscribed to the YouTube. I'm gonna share the channel in the chat here, guys. Here's his YouTube. Yeah,
for anybody who hears this after it's live, or anybody else who's listening now, at a later time, if you ever have a dream that you want interpreted or have a question, feel free to shoot me an email, selfawareness3@gmail.com, or send me a message on any one of those social media platforms. I'm always up to interpreting dreams. I usually have 2 or 3 from either friends or family or strangers that I interpret every day. So no
Nice.
big deal having more.
Yeah, I'll probably be sending you some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to start journaling my dreams again because I used to do it a lot more, and then I've kind of been slacking on it lately. But yeah, well, we're definitely gonna plan a YouTube, and guess what? You're not gonna believe this, but YouTube's back up. So
Yeah, I knew it would happen.
and,
I mean, they're so big, it's not going to last long anyways, but, of course it happened 10 minutes before we start, 10 minutes before we finished.
Exactly. But we're definitely going to plan to have you on the YouTube, and then we can, with that one, we can, bring in people to ask you questions like in the Hangouts, or if they want to talk about a dream. So we'll definitely be planning that. I know we're both going out of town this weekend, and so we'll get on scheduling that here in a couple days. But
yeah, good. We just built up the anticipation. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. I think it worked out just fine. And
yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us. I think we all learned a hell of a lot of awesome information and some exercises,
Good.
and I know I did.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate it. Enjoyed it. We're more than happy to come back anytime.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll definitely be messaging you on Facebook, and we will schedule that soon. And have a great night and safe travels, man.
All right, you too, brother.
All right, man. Peace out. All right, guys. That was an amazing show. Tarak Uday on dreams, and I'm glad we got to talk about the dream realm, some of the entities we might encounter in dreams, and I'm gonna have to. This is another one of those shows I'm gonna have to listen through again just to take it all in. There was a lot of stuff that he talked about that I can't wait to try for myself, because like I said, I used to journal. I mean, sometimes I can write paragraphs on what I experienced in my dreams, and now that I've learned some new things from our friend, I'm gonna have to put some of those to the test. And also, guys, definitely go to his website and pick up his book. I'm sure that it's full of all kinds of other useful information involving the dreams and dream realm. Just so awesome, very awesome. So anyway, guys, I've got some cool stuff coming out. We've got a collaboration with Chris, Center Stars channel, where he interviewed me and we talked back and forth about existence and spirits and all kinds of different stuff. And we went into cryptids too. We actually covered a ton of different subjects. So we're going to be uploading that on his channel. And then if you haven't seen the ones that he did on my channel, the Thunderbird story on Spectral, and on Bigfoot Bob, we got some Bigfoot stories from Chris. Definitely check those out, since YouTube is now back up, of course. And then this weekend at Kingsport, Tennessee, I'll be at Bigfoot Day. I'll be speaking Friday at 3 p.m., and I'll be there Friday and Saturday, just hanging out and having a good time, and partying with some fellow Bigfoot peeps. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Eric might come up too. And I think Joe might be there Friday. So it's going to be an awesome weekend. Lots of stuff coming on the way. I hope everyone's having a great fall so far. October, one of my favorite months. It's been a spooky month. If you guys haven't seen the Rock Springs Road Haunted Drive and Tunnel session, that session got pretty crazy. Like, some of the stuff that was said was blowing my mind when I was reviewing it. And the High Hill Church session. So, lots of good videos out. I'm hoping to get some more streams in with you guys as soon as possible. We were really looking forward to the one tonight, and then YouTube decided to go down right before it. Was that on purpose, YouTube? Did you do that on purpose? Anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely there's a little heart button you can click. Smash that heart on the Spreaker. And yeah, share the link if you liked the show. And yeah, I think I covered mostly everything. So you guys have a good night. I'm going to go listen to some ASMR and try to get into that dream world because I got to get up early and take some of the cats to get fixed before I go out of town. So, yeah, you guys have a great night. I hope you guys have some good dreams tonight. Definitely, if you want to get in touch with Tarak, message me or Chris, or you can find him on Facebook as well. And like I said, links in the description to his website. Yeah, you guys have some sweet dreams tonight. It was an awesome show. I'm glad we at least got it to work on here. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. All right. Good night. Sweet dreams.